press the button.
It starts when I press the
It just
button,
doesn't
so it's
start
already
flashing.
started. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Honey,
Yeah.
one of the things about being cooped up in the house and is self-quarantined in place, as it were,
Yes.
is it's a great time to catch up on your reading.
Sure.
And as you know, I'm a big reader. I read a lot of books.
Yes, you do.
So I thought, as a public service for our viewers, I'd start a new segment on the show, Dave Konig's Book Club.
Wow.
Just share some of the books that are on my coffee table, my nightstand, my ottoman, my armoire, one of my pieces of furniture, my nightstand. What's on your nightstand?
Right.
That's what we're talking.
I like
what
that.
are you reading today?
I like
Here are just some of the books that are on my nightstand, and I recommend these. It'll help get you through the whole thing. First up is Children's Letters to Maury Povich. As you know, honey, throughout the years, children of all ages have written letters to Maury Povich, TV's Maury Povich,
I didn't know that.
expressing their dreams and their hopes. And we've collected them for the first time in a lovely coffee table book, fully illustrated. Children's Letters to Maury Povich.
Wow.
Another book on my nightstand, children's kind of a companion piece, Children's Letters to Connie Chung. These are basically letters from children to Connie Chung complaining that Maury Povich never responded to their initial letters,
Oh, wow.
and asking if Connie could step in and maybe get a word to her dumbass husband.
That is a layered situation.
That's a layered situation. Here's another book on my nightstand, Mike Pence's Life Lessons, Love Lessons. These are apparently dating tips of some kind from the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
Wow.
that wouldn't be on the top of your pile of books to read.
No,
that
it
would,
would
yeah.
No.
Hey, by the way, Mike Pence. Remember when Mike Pence? Everyone was making fun of him because he used to say, "Oh, I'll never get in a room alone with a woman."
Yes.
Who's laughing now? He's apparently ahead of his time. Here's another book on my nightstand. It's kind of a self-help book.
Yeah.
One of those self-help books that
Yeah.
people like to read.
What is it?
It's called "Empty Out Your Resentment Bucket, Fill Up Your Love Box."
Wow.
That's the name of the book.
That's a lot of instructions.
Yeah, it presents the concept of taking all your resentments and having them in some kind of a bucket,
Okay, yeah.
and then you empty that out, and then you get a box, and you fill that box with love.
A love box.
A love box.
Wow.
A love box, if
I
you
love
will.
it.
You love
I
that, huh?
love it, yeah.
All right. Here's a kind of a historical book I'm reading.
Yeah.
Because people like to read big, thick historical books.
Sure.
So on my nightstand, I'm reading a book called "I Remember Stalin, Not the Famous One." It's not about Stalin, the evil dictator of the Soviet Union. It's about a guy named Ralph Stalin, works in a deli in Brooklyn.
Wow.
So "I Remember Stalin, Not the Famous One" is the
Okay.
name of that book.
Is it a big book?
It's 1,400 pages.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Here's a self-help book from Oprah Winfrey. Oprah-size your life is the name of the book.
Oprah-size.
Take your life and just Oprah-size it.
Actually, I would read that.
You would read
I
that.
would read that. Who knows? I wanna be
You
like
would
Oprah.
order 3 copies of that book.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting book. I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. Teach Your Pet Racism. See,
No.
yeah, no. Apparently, if your cat or your dog is not a racist,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, life would be more interesting if my cat or dog was apparently harboring racist sentiments. This is a book, a pet book, kind of a manual
I mean.
called "Teach Your Pet Racism."
Oh.
Seems like it seems like, well, why would you want a book like that?
I know.
Unusual. Here's a book by a TV star
Yeah.
of yesteryear.
Mm-hmm.
They were not always happy days by Donnie Most. The tragic story of Donnie Most.
Donnie Most story.
Apparently, he's got some tragedy. They were not always happy days by
I
Donnie
bet
Most.
he's got some stories.
Here's a historical kind of a historical theory. Was Lincoln's death a suicide? It's a whole book exploring the possibility. It's possible that Lincoln was actually committed suicide.
I don't know about that.
Here's a kind of a sexy book, honey.
Wow.
Monogamy for Swingers. How about that? I want to read that book. Find out what that's all about.
Yeah, that would be.
What else do we got? Oh, interesting. Here's an interesting book. Interesting, kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah.
The Alt-Right Guide to Online Investing.
Wow.
So online investing tips from neo-Nazis.
Yeah, that's quite the collection on your.
It sure is.
nightstand.
I would say out of all of these, maybe the Lincoln joke was the only one that even approached being a joke, and I probably should have ended on that one.
I don't know.
But sadly, I didn't.
No, I mean I think they were all good.
They were all good.
They were all
They were all good. These were all good little jokes. These are all books that are on my nightstand. And you know what that means, honey?
What?
That means it's time for the Dave Konig Show on Facebook Live.
Wow.
We do this every Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Throughout the entire global pandemic. Right? This is our 15th show, or 14th show.
Oh my gosh.
We've been doing
yeah.
it every day since this whole damn thing started.
We are here.
And seated a safe social distance 6 feet to my right is my lovely co-host, the bride of Konig, Susan Konig.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody, of course, is Susan's catchphrase. And by everybody, however, a little inside baseball, she doesn't actually mean everybody. I happen to know there's several people she'd rather not say hi to.
Oh, that's not.
Oh, that is very true. Oh, I know the list.
No, hi, everybody.
No, not everybody. Oh, I can start naming names. So careful with that. Okay. On the show today, we have, of course, as always, the Not Ready for Dave Konig dancers will be here.
Do we? What are they up to?
They're going to do a big production number. However, of course, naturally, they can't be here in the studio, in the Facebook Live studio with us, due to the ongoing global pandemic.
Right, of course.
So what this is going to be a little complicated today. What we'd like to do, I was talking about with the dance captain Gladys, and she's one of the older gals in the troupe. And what they'd like to do is they'd like to have each individual viewer of the show, if you could just put in the comments section, if you could do two things. First, put your home address in the comments section below. And then also Venmo, each individual viewer of the show will have to Venmo Gladys, the dance captain, some money to pay for the Ubers and buses so that each individual dancer can go to your address. What they're going to do is they're going to come out, they're going to be fully protected in Tyvek suits and masks and gloves and galoshes, and they'll stand across the street from your home and you can watch from the window, and they'll do a portion of of tonight's big dance production number.
Like a social distancing.
Like a social distancing, complicated Venmo home address kind of a thing. So if you do all of that, we can get the dance number in today.
Okay.
And of course, the Not Ready for Dave Konig players are here, our popular in-house sketch comedy troupe.
Yeah, with Kevin.
With Kevin, the young punk who thinks he's going to be the big breakout star of the show. And gets on my nerves all the time. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to do amusing TV parody sketches.
Oh.
Because everybody's home watching a lot of TV because you're stuck. So they got some funny TV parody sketches they're going to do on the show today. It should be a lot of fun. Could be a lot of fun. They're going to do a big parody of Law and Order. It's a Law and Order Parking Violations Bureau. I'm in that sketch. I play a guy who parked in the no parking zone. I didn't see the signs. Very suspenseful. And then they're going to come back out later in the show. They're going to do CSI Poughkeepsie.
Oh.
Right? All the kind of exciting criminal activity in Poughkeepsie, New York. They're
A lot of local interest.
A lot of local. Oh, and speaking of which, a big parody of Survivor. That's going to be a lot of fun. Survivor East Hampton. 6 Jews on the beach, no sunblock.
Oh.
Okay, check your local listings for that.
Wow.
So all those exciting things. Oh, and a big celebrity guest on the show today.
Gosh.
Well, I'll tell you, honey. You know, with the global pandemic and such, it's awfully hard for people to get out to the circus anymore.
Oh,
You know?
sure.
You know, you want to go to the circus, it's kind of hard because you're stuck in your house. So as a public service, we are providing an appearance tonight by the Kenosha Virtual Online Circus of Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
And one of their big features, Bobby, the Amazing Thigh Boy.
What's that mean?
He's a boy whose entire body is in proportion except for his thighs, which seem rather plump. So plump that when he walks, they chafe. They chafe. They chafe. Not chafe. They chafe. His thighs chafe. So he'll be on the show.
Okay.
Bobby, the Amazing Thigh Boy, will be on the show.
All right.
Now, honey, as you know, I am brilliant, genius,
Yes, of course.
in all medium, and so I thought I would take advantage of why let this valuable time go to waste?
Right.
We're stuck in the house. We got nothing to do. We got nowhere to go. We're all trapped. We're all trapped like cornered rats.
Well, we got to make the most of it.
So why not take this time to write a novel? I am writing the great American novel, so that when we come out of this, I'll say, well, hey, at least I wrote the great American novel. What did you do? What did you do with your time?
Wow.
So I have some notes on my novel. Do you mind if I share them with you tonight?
Not at all.
All right, these are notes from my new novel, the great American novel that I am writing. This is a story of a woman. A woman is the main, the protagonist.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, because I think there's enough men writing for men characters. You need women characters out there.
Okay.
So it's a story of a bald woman
Oh.
who ironically gives birth to a baby with a full beard and mustache. It's a baby, and I'm not just talking like stubble. I mean a full-on ZZ Top, Smith Brothers cough drops, beard and mustache, and the book is entitled "From Hair to Maternity" is the name of the book. It's the name of my novel I'm writing.
I was wondering.
And but this particular chapter I want to read some notes from doesn't involve the bald woman because this is an epic. This is an epic. No, it's an epic book. There's all kinds of characters and things that are happening. It's huge.
Right.
And this is basically this book is a multi-generational romance for the beach read market.
Oh, wow.
Right? You go to the
That's
beach, you want to have a big heavy book with a lot of romance and
Saga.
like a saga.
Okay.
So this is for like in the summer when you go to the beach, you take this book with you. Or if you're in Florida, you don't have to wait for the summer. And if there's a global pandemic, just ignore all social distancing and go to the beach now, as you are doing. Apparently, that's what they're doing in Florida. They all go to the beach.
I heard some.
Yeah. Okay, so this is some notes from my new novel, From Hair to Maternity.
Okay.
Thom Strumson.
Who?
Thom Strumson. Thom Strumson is a strapping young research scientist / thong model. Okay. Well, he's a scientist, and he also he models men's thongs, and he's dedicated to finding. This is prescient and relevant for today's condition. He is dedicated to finding a cure for the condition, which is a new viral strain of psoriasis, resistant to all medicated shampoos and topical lotions. Okay. And his research takes him to Monte Carlo, where he encounters Rebecca Weathers, a vivacious young croupier / thong model.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a coincidence.
she also models thongs, female thongs, which are different from male thongs. They fit differently.
Okay.
For the male thongs are formed for the male buttocks. You see. Just want to clarify that.
That's a lot of information.
So Rebecca Weathers and Thom Strumson meet cute. That's a term that we use in writing. They meet cute at the blackjack table, where Thom loses a considerable amount of money and generally has a miserable time. A palpable attraction develops between them, but it is unacknowledged and largely misunderstood, both thinking it was something they ate. Okay, so that's how this chapter kicks off with boom.
As thong models.
Well, we're getting to that. You're jumping ahead in our story. The next day, they meet cute again on a thong catalog shoot.
Oh my gosh.
They're both models on the same thong catalog. Thom Strumson, our young thong model hero, and research scientist, and Rebecca discuss on this. They're in the studio of the thong modeling catalog, and they discuss thong modeling. They're having a conversation about modeling thongs. Their attraction for each other grows and is more readily acknowledged this time, as Thom is not gambling away his life savings. He is standing there, and they are both wearing thongs. So sparks start to fly, as they will when you're standing around wearing a thong. The other models at the thong model shoot don't really notice Thom and Rebecca's developing bond, as the flirtatious chit-chat doesn't seem particularly unusual because they're all wearing thongs, and they're just all a lot of flirtatious chit-chat going on. Later that evening, if you will, Thom calls Rebecca and proposes marriage.
In one day.
Things move fast when you're not wearing any pants, let me tell you. Thom.
What is his name?
His name is Thom, and he models thongs. You got to keep that straight. Thom proposes marriage to Rebecca. She politely declines, as she is already engaged to Clem Melbjim. Clem Melbjim. He's a Texas oil baron and thong manufacturer. Okay, so he's got a big thong factory in Texas, Clem Melbjim.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that's his name. Pretty sure. Thom is distraught. distraught, as you would imagine, and he goes down to the hotel bar to drown his sorrows, where he is asked to either put on pants or leave.
Right.
Okay, because that'll happen.
That should happen.
Rebecca marries Clem, and they join a cult.
Oh.
Okay, we're not sure what this. This is early in the writing stage.
Wow.
So I don't know yet if it's a multi-level marketing scam or apocalyptic UFO cult. We'll work those details out. And I'm thinking of perhaps, as I research writing this novel, I might join a cult just for the research.
Will you wear a thong?
I'll join a thong cult of some kind. There's got to be some kind of cult where they only wear thongs.
I'm sure.
Google that for me.
Okay.
All right. Thom returns to America heartbroken. And he's pining for Rebecca. He spirals into an abyss of self-destruction.
Oh my gosh.
He abandons his scientific research and only gets the occasional thong modeling gig, now only for the lesser down-market thong catalogs.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Years go by. Rebecca and Clem have several children. They divorce, remarry, then divorce again. They agree to an amicable settlement in which Rebecca gets all of Clem's businesses, savings, the 3 houses, all the cars, and all of Clem's future earnings. Neither want the kids, who are put up for adoption.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, that
Wow,
happens.
that's
That's a little twist in the story. Rebecca and Clem remain good friends, but never see each other again.
Okay.
All right. Thom runs for Congress, but gets no votes as it's not an election year. And these are just, that's as far as I've gotten in my novel. From Hair to Maternity is the name of that.
I gotta say, that's action-packed.
It is action-packed, isn't it? So what do you think? Do you think that has potential for it to be a full-fledged, maybe a whole series of novels, I think?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It could be a series, a trilogy.
Not all these bits, in fact, none of these bits actually have big finishes. I don't know if you've noticed that. They all kind of just...
Well, I mean, my head is spinning.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I've been getting a lot of notes from people over the course of the past 14 shows complimenting you, Susan Konig.
No.
Yes. It is said that you are my secret weapon and that the show would not be the same without you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And that we make a great co-host team.
That's so nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Because I've known that for how long have we been married now? Because it's been an awfully long time.
29 years.
Have we been married 29 years?
Well, almost.
Oh, no, don't do that to me.
No, I mean 29 this summer.
Yeah, okay, so that's not 29.
Well, it's
Okay, it's 28 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's not rush it now. And we actually eloped, you and I.
did.
Which is, by the way, that's the way to do it. Don't if you're going to get married, don't have a big wedding because no one really wants to be there. Nobody wants to go to your stupid wedding.
Oh, I like
No, just elope. Get it over with. Nobody. You got to travel. You got to buy a present. It's all aggravating.
Oh.
Nobody wants to be there.
that's for sure.
No, the worst. You know what the worst kind of wedding is?
What's
The
it?
worst kind of. You dragged me to one a couple of months ago. It was a cousin of yours. It's the do-it-yourself wedding.
Oh my goodness.
The worst kind of wedding there is.
Oh my goodness.
You know the do-it-yourself wedding? That's where you can't get married indoor, like at a church or a temple. They got to get married outdoors in a cow pasture. Don't get married outdoors in a cow pasture. Nobody wants to be there. It's wet. It's cold. There's cow shit everywhere.
Oh.
Even the cows don't want to be there. If cows could talk, you know what they'd say? They'd say, could we come in? Because there's all this cow shit out here. No, that's true. That way. I remember that one. Remember? And then they can't get like a priest or a rabbi to marry them. No, they got to get like their friend from college who majored in lesbian poetry with the socks and the sandals. The worst part of the do-it-yourself, what's the worst part of the do-it-yourself wedding?
I don't know what.
They write their own vows.
Oh.
Don't write your own vows. You have no talent. You can't write.
Oh my gosh.
You always know whose idea it was to write their own vows, right? It's the bride's idea. No, because her vows go on for an hour and a half. You're out there in a cow pasture with cow shit up to your ankles in the cold and the wet and the rain, and she's up there doing a one-woman show. And so, as you and I and you travel together universally, separately yet collectively, in a bond of love and matrimony, as we go forth in the future with an eye towards the past, but a present sense of a concept in which we both universally think of each other in our understanding of each other's love and needs with a concern for global warming and the climate change and the blah, 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 blah.
Oh, it's very nice.
You think so?
Well.
And then, finally, she's done. And now it's the groom's turn. And you just know, this poor son of a gun, he forgot all about the vows until the night before when he was stumbling home from the bachelor party. It's like, oh my God, the vows. Because he's up there. Loving you is easy. Expressing love is hard. So to show you how you feel, I bought you this card.
that wedding.
You remember that wedding? It'll be a long night for that guy. How long have we been doing this show here on the Facebook Live television network?
19 minutes.
19 minutes. We're 4 minutes over. It's time to wrap this thing up.
Oh my God.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. It went by so quickly.
That was so fun.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
fast. Unfortunately, our guest, Bobby, the amazing thigh boy from the Kenosha Virtual Online Circus, that's the boy whose entire body is in proportion except for his thighs, which seem rather plump. He couldn't be here because he's quarantined, and his thighs are chafing, so he couldn't be here. So they promise from the Kenosha Virtual Online Circus that tomorrow they're going to have an exciting guest for us. From the wilds of Borneo, meet the dangerous and scary Ralph Henderson, the world's only vegetarian cannibal. So that'll be a thrilling thing. That'll be great, right?
Gosh.
So you should plug your books too. Here, hand me all your books. Let's sell a book here. Before we go, buy all of Susan's books. Teenagers and toddlers are trying to kill me. Why animals sleep so close to the road and other lies I tell my children. And I wear the maternity pants in this family. Go on Amazon right now and put these books on your nightstand. Not those dopey gag books I was pushing earlier in the show. Buy Susan's books.
Yay.
And buy a copy of my book, Good Luck, Mr. Gorski, a great novel by yours truly, Dave Konig. And by the way, you can feel good about every purchase because, and this is actually in all sincerity, a large portion of the proceeds from the sale of each book will go to pay our rent. So
That's true.
yeah. All right. Thank you very much. We should say hi to people who watch the show. We never do this. We always ignore it until later, and then
We do it every time.
well, who's been watching the show today?
What, Elliot?
Elliot Finkel, the great classical pianist and entertainer Elliot Finkel, who is he's my musical director.
I know.
When I do a show.
John DeMarco.
Michael Feeling, who is married to Gabby, my cousin Gabby,
Right.
and hi kids,
Yep.
and
Marina Moran.
Corinna Moran.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Corinna Moran.
Giggles' mom.
Giggles' mom. Hi, Giggles Moran.
And Maria Cutiquest.
Maria Cutiquest. This is the romper room portion of the show. I see Kathy Stell. I see Sam Goldwyn.
Mark Feinson.
I see Mark Feinson.
Iacobelli.
Josh Iacobelli. We see them all, and we'll see you all tomorrow right here at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on my Facebook page for the Dave Konig Show on Facebook Live. Until then, be healthy. God bless, and good night, everybody. I should turn it off, shouldn't I?
Yes, turn it off.
It's kind of fun to just. All right. Oh.